He is my brother's best friend. The one I've always seen as a big brother. And then one night, everything changed. My name is Emily. I've always lived in the shadow of my older brother, Josh. To him, I'll always be that little sister. Clumsy, naive, always tagging along. He's protective, loving, and we've always been close. But there's another part of my life, one that's tangled up in something I never planned for. Ryan. The camera slowly moves through a photo album. Pictures of Emily and Josh as children. Then Ryan, always part of the family gatherings, smiling, joking with them. The tension between Emily and Ryan is unspoken but palpable. Ryan isn't just Josh's best friend. He's the guy everyone wants to be. Charismatic, mature, and effortlessly cool. He's always been there for me too, but never in a way that felt more than brotherly. At least, that's what I told myself. Cut to Emily, looking at a picture of Ryan from a recent family gathering. She smiles, her eyes lingering longer than usual. She looks away, as if caught in a moment of vulnerability. But I can't deny it anymore. I've always felt this pull toward him, this quiet, constant ache that's been growing inside me for years, ever since I was a teenager. I don't know when it started, but I began seeing him differently. Ryan wasn't just the guy who came over for dinner or hung out with Josh and me. He became someone I couldn't stop thinking about. Josh has always been my protector. He was the one who taught me to ride a bike, the one who stayed up late to help me with homework, the one who had my back in every fight at school. He's been my rock, my constant. But in his eyes, I'm still just his little sister. The camera zooms out to show Josh laughing with Emily at a family BBQ. His protective nature is clear as he watches Ryan interact with Emily from a distance, thinking nothing of it. Josh trusts Ryan completely. Josh's friendship with Ryan goes back a long way. They've been through everything together. College, late-night talks, their first jobs, and their first heartbreaks. They're inseparable. And because of that, Ryan has always been part of my world, just never in the way I wanted him to be. Ryan. He's always been the mature one. He's got this quiet confidence about him that draws people in, and it's hard not to admire him. He's the kind of guy who does the right thing without anyone asking. He's also the kind of guy who makes you feel seen, heard, understood, even when you don't think anyone is paying attention. The camera lingers on Ryan's face, smiling warmly at Emily, but always with a hint of distance. Their interactions have always been friendly, but something more lingers beneath the surface. Ryan has never seen her as more than Josh's little sister. Until now, maybe. But for Emily, it's always been more than that. But lately, I've been noticing things about Ryan. Little things. The way his gaze lingers just a second too long when he looks at me. Or the way he smiles differently. Now when we're alone, it's confusing, because I know I'm just his little sister. But sometimes, when I look into his eyes, I wonder if he sees me differently too. The evening was filled with laughter, music, and the soft clinking of glasses. Josh's birthday party was in full swing. Friends and family gathered around, drinks in hand, enjoying the festive atmosphere. Emily smiled, her heart light as she watched Josh laugh with his friends, the familiar faces around her offering a sense of comfort. It felt like a typical family gathering, until the weather changed. The sound of rain began softly at first, a mere trickle on the windows, but soon it grew louder, a relentless downpour pounding against the glass. The mood shifted with the storm, the guests slowly drifting away, heading to their cars, eager to escape the downpour. Emily stood near the door, glancing out into the night, feeling the shift in the air. The party was dying down. Josh, ever the gracious host was caught up in saying goodbyes to the last few guests. But Emily, she stayed behind. She wasn't quite ready to face the quiet of the night. It wasn't until she turned around that she noticed Ryan, standing alone by the fireplace, his gaze focused on her. He approached her quietly, a small smile tugging at his lips. "You stuck here too?" he asked, his voice warm, casual. But there was something about his presence tonight that felt different, closer, more intimate. Emily nodded, a faint laugh escaping her lips. "Seems like it. The storm's not letting up." Ryan took a step closer. "Looks like we're both stranded then," he said, motioning to the now empty living room. "Guess we'll have to make our own fun." There was a subtle tension in his tone, a hint of something unspoken. Emily felt it too, but she couldn't place it. Maybe it's just the storm, she thought. Just the mood. Ryan, ever the gentleman, draped his jacket over her shoulders as the temperature dropped with the rain. The gesture was simple, yet it made Emily's heart skip a beat. His touch lingered for a moment longer than necessary, sending a warmth through her that had nothing to do with the fabric of the jacket. As they moved to the couch, the two found themselves in a small corner of the room, isolated from the chaos of the party. The air between them shifted. The space felt tighter, more charged. They began talking, the conversation flowing easily, about nothing in particular, just the usual banter. But there was a weight to their words, a layer of something deeper, more personal. Ryan's laugh was softer tonight, his voice lower. The way he looked at her, just a little longer than usual, caught Emily off guard. It wasn't the way he looked at her as a friend, a sister of his best friend. It was different. It was the kind of look that lingered, that made her pulse race, that made her feel like they were the only two people in the room. Is this real? She wondered. Or am I just imagining it? She caught her breath as their eyes met, and for a moment, everything else seemed to fade away. The storm outside, the party, the world, it all disappeared in that fleeting second. Ryan's eyes softened, and for the first time, Emily saw something in them she hadn't seen before. Desire. The moment hung there, fragile and electric. Neither of them spoke, yet everything was said in the silence that followed. Emily's heart raced, a familiar ache spreading through her chest as she realized, this is no longer just a friendship. The storm raged on, but inside, everything had changed. The room was thick with tension, the storm outside seeming to mirror the storm inside Emily's chest. She couldn't look away from Ryan. His gaze was intense, his eyes searching hers with an almost desperate longing. The air between them crackled, with unspoken words. In that fleeting moment, it was as if the world outside had ceased to exist. All the history, all the friendship, all the years of pretending, it was all gone. Just the two of them, standing on the precipice of something forbidden, something neither of them could take back. Ryan stepped closer, his breath warm on her face. Emily's pulse quickened, her thoughts muddled, her body betraying her mind. This was wrong. She knew it. He knew it. But neither of them could stop. And then, without warning, Ryan's lips brushed against hers. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, as if they were both unsure whether to pull away. But then it deepened, driven by an undeniable force neither of them could fight. Emily's hands instinctively clutched the fabric of his shirt, pulling him closer, as if she could erase the distance that had always existed between them. This is wrong, her mind screamed. But it feels so right. The kiss was full of emotion, longing, confusion, guilt, and an overwhelming surge of desire. Neither of them spoke, their actions saying everything they had kept hidden for so long. It was an explosion of feeling, a breaking of every unspoken rule. When they finally broke apart, they were breathless, their faces inches apart, both of them reeling from the intensity of the moment. Emily's chest was tight, her heart pounding in her ears. She couldn't make sense of what had just happened. She should have pulled away, should have stopped this madness. But the moment had already consumed them both. Ryan, she began. But her words faltered. Her voice felt foreign to her, as if she wasn't even sure who she was anymore. Ryan swallowed hard, his hand trembling as he brushed a stray lock of hair from her face. Emily, I don't know what to say. The guilt hit them both at once, suffocating and cold. Emily's mind was racing, full of conflicting thoughts. How could I do this? He's my brother's best friend. This is so wrong. But even as the guilt gnawed at her, she couldn't deny the heat that still simmered beneath her skin, the pull she felt toward him that wouldn't go away. Ryan stepped back, his face a mix of regret and longing. I didn't mean for this to happen, but I can't stop. Not when it's been building like this. Emily felt the weight of his words, the confession hanging in the air like a heavy curtain. She didn't know what to say either. Everything she had believed, everything she had known, had shattered in a single kiss. As the night wore on, the storm outside continued to rage, but the storm inside Emily's heart felt even stronger. Neither of them knew how to navigate what had just transpired. The tension between them was unbearable, and yet neither of them could leave. They both ended up staying the night, the weight of their actions settling over them like a thick fog. The space between them on the couch was filled with silence, the kind that spoke louder than any words ever could. Emily's mind was in chaos, replaying the kiss over and over again. The guilt consumed her, but so did the undeniable desire. What had they just done? And more terrifyingly, what would happen next? The night stretched on, the boundaries they had once known now broken, the future uncertain. But the one thing that was clear, nothing would ever be the same again. The morning light filtered through the curtains, casting a soft glow over the room, but there was nothing gentle about the atmosphere. Emily woke up, her mind still spinning from the events of the night before. She lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling, her heart racing as she tried to piece together everything that had happened. The room was silent, but the weight of the unspoken words hung heavy between them. Ryan was already up, standing by the window, his back turned to her. He hadn't said a word, hadn't even looked at her. He was distant, his posture stiff, as if he were trying to distance himself from the reality of the night. Emily sat up slowly, unsure of what to do. Next, unsure how to face him. Ryan? Her voice was shaky, unsure. He didn't turn around right away. When he did, his face was closed off, his eyes filled with a quiet storm. This is it, Emily thought. We're both pretending like it didn't happen, like everything's normal. But it's not. Ryan's voice broke the silence, low and filled with a kind of pain. I don't know how to fix this, Emily. Her heart sank. Neither do I, she thought. But saying that out loud seemed impossible. The truth was, everything had changed. The innocent friendship they once shared now felt like a fragile illusion, shattered by a single reckless moment. I can't keep doing this, Emily admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. She looked at Ryan, her emotions a chaotic mess. I don't want to lose Josh. Or you. I don't want to ruin everything. Ryan's gaze softened for a moment, but the guilt was written all over his face. I'm scared too, he said. I don't want to hurt either of you. But if Josh finds out, Emily felt a wave of nausea wash over her. Josh will kill you if he knows. Ryan's words from the night before echoed in her mind. The weight of his statement pressed down on her chest. The guilt that had already been gnawing at her now flooded back, stronger than before. She had crossed a line that could never be undone. But as much as the guilt twisted inside her, as much as she tried to deny it, there was a part of her that couldn't ignore what she felt. She couldn't deny the connection, the intensity of the emotions that had erupted between them. No matter how wrong it seemed, no matter how much it threatened to destroy everything, she couldn't erase what had happened. The air between them was thick with tension, the future uncertain. What now? Neither of them had the answer. But the fear of losing everything they once held dear, each other, Josh, their friendship, lingered in the space between them. The night air was cool, the quiet hum of the city surrounding them as Emily stood under the streetlight, waiting for Ryan. Her heart was pounding in her chest, each beat louder than the last. She couldn't avoid this any longer. The silence between them had become unbearable, and she knew they had to talk. Ryan appeared from the shadows, his expression unreadable. He looked at her, and for a long moment, neither of them spoke. The weight of everything hung heavy between them, and Emily could feel the tension in the air, thick and suffocating. Emily, Ryan started, but his voice trailed off, unsure where to begin. He stepped closer, the distance between them closing with each hesitant step. I know, Emily whispered, her voice trembling. I can't keep pretending like nothing happened. I can't live in this silence anymore. Ryan's gaze softened, but there was a pain in his eyes that made Emily's heart ache. I love you, Emily, he confessed, the words heavy with sincerity. But we can't keep going like this. We can't lie to Josh. We can't keep hiding what we feel. Emily's breath caught in her throat. The truth of his words was both a relief and a crushing weight. I feel the same, she whispered, fighting the tears that threatened to spill. But I can't betray Josh. I can't lose you both. Ryan reached out, gently taking her hands in his. I'll do whatever it takes to make you happy, Emily. I don't want to lose you. Not like this. The words were both a promise and a plea, a desperate hope in his voice. But Emily felt the battle raging within her. What should she do? The choice lay before her. To face the consequences of their love, or let it go forever. The weight of the secret had grown too heavy to bear, and Ryan knew what he had to do. That morning, as the sun peeked through the blinds, he made the decision. He couldn't keep living in the shadows. He couldn't let the love he felt for Emily destroy their friendship with Josh. With a steady breath, he called Josh and asked to meet. When Josh arrived, Ryan could see the concern on his face. There was no going back now. Josh, Ryan began, his voice steady but filled with a quiet desperation. I need to tell you something. Something that's been weighing on me. He paused, meeting Josh's gaze. I'm in love with Emily. Josh's expression froze for a moment, the words hanging between them. Emily had always been like a little sister to him, and the thought of his best friend with her was a jarring one. But as Ryan continued, explaining the guilt, the feelings they had tried to ignore, Josh listened quietly, his eyes never leaving Ryan's. Finally, after a long silence, Josh sighed. "I never thought I'd hear those words from you." He paused, his face unreadable. "But I can see you love her, and if you really care about her—" He took a deep breath. "Then just make sure you make her happy." Ryan's heart swelled with relief. Josh's acceptance wasn't easy, but it was real, and it meant everything. Ryan nodded, his voice filled with gratitude. "I promise. I will." As Josh walked away, a sense of calm washed over Ryan. He had told the truth, and now the future felt possible. He knew the road ahead wouldn't be simple, but for the first time in a long time, he felt hopeful. Together, they would face whatever came next, because for the first time, nothing was standing in their way.